James Gunn has been on a roll after the release of Superman, and here's every major reveal by Gunn about Superman and his future projects. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Being a lighter and colorful take on the character of Superman, monologues and dialogue-heavy scenes weren't really James Gunn's style. Even if he did, it would probably be for comedic effect. Surprisingly enough, the DCU flick does feature a 12-minute dialogue scene between Lois Lane, played by Rachel Brosnahan, and Clark Kent, played by David Corenswet. Being weary of a world that had turned against the very superhero they prayed for, Superman flies through the open balcony of Lois Lane's apartment, where the two sit down to have a heart-to-heart talk about who Superman really is, while Lois Lane contemplates breaking up with him. James Gunn has been hammering and toiling away to create a cinematic universe that these DC characters can call their home. With the release of Superman, and the film getting rave reviews, including one for me, there has been a ton of chatter and revelations by director James Gunn about Superman and the DCU. From the potential return of Henry Cavill to James Gunn's DCU to Bradley Cooper almost starring as Lex Luthor instead of Nicholas Hoult, James Gunn's Superman is filled with riddles and secrets that Gunn recently revealed in the Happy Sad Confused podcast. Well, here's every major Superman reveal by James Gunn and what it means for the DCU. Throughout his extensive Hollywood career, James Gunn has always relied on songs from the 70s and the 80s to put the audience in a groove. Compared to his other superhero movies, Superman has a lack of songs and rather relies on the music score composed by John Murphy and David Fleming to set the tone of the movie. Although there are songs in the movie, they are used sparingly throughout the entire 129-minute runtime. Remember, punk rocker in the closing credits. During his talks with the Happy Sad Confused podcast, the director reveals that the 12-minute talking scene was the biggest creative risk that he took in a superhero movie, but it paid off well. Before he was cast in the role of Jor-El alongside Angela Sarafian as Lara Lorvan, Bradley Cooper was initially considered by James Gunn to portray the role of Lex Luthor. However, the actor revealed in the podcast that he wanted Lex Luthor to be contemporary of Superman's age. And since Bradley Cooper was a little bit older, he wouldn't fit in the age range of David Corenswet's Superman. Gunn admitted that Cooper would have been a great Lex. With that age factor in mind, Gunn decided to take Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. Gunn revealed in the Happy Sad Confused podcast that this decision was scary, since he hadn't done it before. Several of the original scores had to be toned down and made lighter to fit the theme of the movie, and the movie, Jor-El's remaining half of a message is decoded by Lex Luthor. The latter half of the message instructs Superman to conquer Earth and make it a second Krypton. Throughout the movie, audiences are kept in the dark about whether that message was fabricated by Lex Luthor or was it real. However, in the podcast, James Gunn revealed that Jor-El and Lara's message is real and not at all doctored. The reason for this controversial choice was that Gunn wanted the audience to realize that Superman was his own person with his beliefs and moral codes, despite being directly ordered by his biological parents to conquer the home where he was raised. However, James Gunn did give Bradley Cooper his due screen time when he cast Cooper in the role of Jor-El, who appears in a hologram message in Superman. However, as the trailer dropped and hype started, people started accepting David Corenswet as the new Man of Steel and eventually fell in love with his portrayal, again, me being one of them. When David Corenswet was initially cast as Superman, there was an intense backlash because of Henry Cavill's controversial exit and his millions of fans, me being one of them. In the movie, we are introduced to some new and old characters from James Gunn's DCU, namely, Guy Gardner/Green Lantern, Nathan Fillion, Hawkgirl, Isabella Merced, and Mr. Terrific, Eddie Gathegi. The three heroes call themselves the Justice Gang and are financed by Maxwell Lord, who was played by Pedro Pascal in Wonder Woman 1984, and the film depicts an unfinished Hall of Justice building. The murals depict several heroes like Jay Garrick, Flash, Alan Scott, Green Lantern, and Dr. Fate, which suggests a history of the Justice Society of America. During his talks with IMDb, James Gunn revealed that he was watching the 2022 horror film Pearl. Corenswet had portrayed the role of the projectionist, and Gunn thought, that guy looks like he could possibly be Superman. A quick search on IMDb brought the actor's name, and the rest, as we know, is history. However, Cavill soon announced his departure from the newly formed DCU, which made. James Gunn has teased that a DCU role might be in Henry Cavill's future, and here are 5 characters he would be perfect for. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Jay Garrick is the Golden Age iteration of the DC comic speedster The Flash. Given his old-school sensibilities and bulky frame for a speedster in the comics, Cavill would be a perfect fit for the character. Superman has already teased that the Justice Society of America exists in the DCU, and Garrick is one of the group's most prominent members. James Gunn recently appeared on the Happy Sad Confused podcast, where the DC Studios co-CEO discussed the DCU's future post-Superman. At the same time, Gunn admitted it was difficult to let go of Henry Cavill following his stint as the Man of Steel in the DCU. Absolutely not. I would love to put Henry in something. Gunn made the above comment when asked whether it would be too confusing to include Cavill in the new DCU as a different character. Gunn admitted that he would love to work with Cavill in the future and had even discussed potential DCU roles with the actor. Here are 5 characters I think Henry Cavill should play in the DCU after James Gunn's comments. Red Tornado is an android appearing in DC Comics, who gains superpowers after merging with a sentient tornado. He has a wide variety of powers, including super strength, invisibility, aerokinesis, and flight. Red Tornado has also been a member of the JSA and the Justice League, particularly during the Silver Age. Hence, Cavill could easily appear in a cameo as Red Tornado in future projects featuring the teams. During the same conversation, Gunn also stated that The Flash and Aquaman, who prominently featured in the DCU, would not be appearing in the rebooted universe for quite some time. As a result, the gap might help the audience accept Cavill in a new role while softly introducing The Flash in the DCU. Captain Atom originally debuted in Charlton Comics before being acquired by DC Comics. The character possesses energy-manipulating abilities and has drawn frequent comparisons to Superman. He gained popularity during the Silver Age, which seems to have inspired Gunn's new DCU. Captain Atom has also played a key role in canon-altering stories, which means Cavill could appear as the superhero in a limited but important capacity from time to time. Hourman is one of the most interesting characters from DC Comics, who gains superpowers via a miracle vitamin, albeit only for exactly 60 minutes. The character was a prominent feature during the Golden Age as Rex Tyler, while his son, Rick Tyler, has featured as Hourman in more modern stories. Cavill could easily pull off either version of the character in a big crossover event, such as Crisis on Infinite Earths. Since David Cornsweet replaced Cavill as Superman, the latter playing his rival in the new DCU would be a fun prospect. It would also allow Gunn to bring his signature humor to the character, making for a fun Cavill cameo to bookend his stint with DC. James Gunn loves deep-cut and relatively unknown characters and has a penchant for making them memorable on the big screen. As a result, Hyperman, the mostly forgotten Superman rival from the Silver Age, is arguably the perfect role for Cavill.